Ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be taking a look at the Steam Summer Sale deals on the 18th of July, and I'll be letting you know my thoughts and opinions on the very best ones. So without further ado, let's just get on with it. First one we're going to talk about, and the one that's probably going to attract many people, is Far Cry 3. You've got a couple of versions for this one. First one, I'll tell you the US dollar prices first. You can pay $24, I'm just going to round it up. That's 40% off for the standard version, or you could pay $29.99 for the deluxe version if you're paying in UK currency. That's $11.99 or $14.99 respectively. So what are my thoughts? First of all, I personally do believe the deluxe edition is worth it. You do get a few extra missions. They're not necessities, but they're kind of cool and they're pretty fun to do. I wouldn't exactly say there's tons of extra gameplay, but for a few extra pounds, it's worth it if you're into Far Cry. My personal experiences with this game are that I absolutely love it. A couple of missions are a little bit too easy, a couple of missions are a little bit too hard, compared to, say, the rest of the game. However, overall, it is absolutely awesome. Performance is absolutely beautiful on PC, and the art style could be something that you like or loathe, actually. I actually really like it, and I kind of like the mixture of scenery. It's also one of those games where, when you're using certain weapons, flamethrower, then you're gonna absolutely just... It's just amazingly fun, that's all I have to say. So, yeah, definitely worth it for Far Cry 3. Next up, we have Magicka. It's available for US prices for $2.49, or UK prices, you're looking at £2. It's worth noting that most... I do repeat the word, most of the DLC is absolutely crap on this game, at least in my opinion. But there are a couple of nice pieces that will give you some extra content. I would personally recommend The Stars Are Left and the Tower of Niflheim as well. Is pretty cool. This game is a little bit frustrating if you're single player. It can be a little bit boring. In my personal opinion, this game works far better, as it turns out, with multiple players. It actually supports them locally as well. I actually quite like this game, and part of the fun is actually combining different spells and actually figuring out what does what. That said, it can be a little bit boring single player. On the other hand, it's not terrible. The story and narration are not bad. I personally would say that this game doubles in greatness if you have someone else to play it with you, however. Next up, we have the rather infamous Garry's Mod. It's available for $2.49 if you're paying in dollars. On the other hand, if you're paying in pounds, it's available for $1.49. So that's a pretty good price actually for UK buyers. This is probably going to be one of those games where it's pretty damn obvious now what the hell it is. It's basically a huge sandbox, and you can pretty much put together any different contraption you want, mess around with it, and basically blow stuff up, make various physics puzzles, do whatever the heck you want. It's actually a pretty cool experience, and you can do quite a lot of stuff with it. In my personal opinion, if you have some time just to piss about with, then you could do far worse than this particular title. Next up, Infestation Survival Stories. It's available for $3.74, which sounds a pretty good deal, right? $3.74. And if you're paying in pounds, it's $2.74. So this is one of those games where if you're into zombies, you're going to want to pick it up, right? I mean, it's an action RPG, massively multiplayer situation. Can't be that bad. Actually, it turns out that it's pretty abysmal. It routinely scores 1 star. And basically, what's going on here is this game is actually The War Z. That is nothing to do with DayZ. Renamed. And it scores poorly. It's actually, I've not played it, if I'm honest. It just scores terribly. Most people agree that it is an abysmal title, and okay, it's cheap. without question. But here's the thing. For that exact same price, you could pick up Magicka, you could pick up Gary's mod. Just a few pennies more today, and you could even pick up SimCity. And so I just can't say that this title is worth it. Next title, Euro Truck Simulator. It's available for 75% off or $9.99, and if you're paying in UK currency, that's $6.24. Honestly, I could say that I've had no interest whatsoever in this game. Fortunately, there's a demo available. Now, I can honestly say that I've not played it. Some people love this game. Some people love the farming simulator, surgeon simulator, if I get the words out, and so on. I have no interest in this at all. I'm not going to pick it up, I'll just be honest, but you may feel differently. There is a demo available. Check out the demo, see what you think, and then obviously judge accordingly. That would be my advice. Next up, we have a rather fantastic title, Xcom, Enemy Unknown. It's available on Steam for $9.99, that would be US dollars. If on the other hand you're paying in pounds, it's $7.49. This is a tactical RTS game, and honestly speaking, it's pretty awesome. You get to make various tactical decisions in terms of your equipment, what research to go with, and a lot more besides. I have done a video on this one, and so you might want to check that out as well. There is even a demo available. I would actually recommend this if you're into strategy and RTS type of titles. It is pretty cool. Next title we have Modern Warfare 3. It's available for $20 or £20, so Brits get absolutely hosed on this deal. I could honestly say that I don't particularly think this game is worth buying now. Why? It's not because it's bad, it's not because I have a hatred of COD or whatever. I think it's a pretty good game, but it just turns out that for this price, for a game that's so late in its shelf life, let's be honest, if you've not played this game until now, and you just pick this up, chances are that you're not going to do too well, and you're just going to get massacred online by those who know the maps and so on really well. And with a new Call of Duty, Ghosts being released soonish, as well as of course Black Ops 2, which is newer, as well as various other bits and bobs, I don't really think this title is worth the price of admission. I think maybe if it had been cheaper, maybe if it had been like, I don't know, $10 or £10, it could have been. At this price, I'd say, just, give it a miss. Next title, SimCity 4. It's available for $5.99, or if you're paying in pounds, that would be a rather reasonable $2.99. This is going to appeal to anyone who is interested in city building titles and so on. It is fairly old now, that's the only thing, and so there are more modern versions available. I personally haven't played it. It scores okay, but I just personally never really gone into these type of games. I don't know, just haven't really done so. It does look pretty cool, it reviews fairly well, but as I said, haven't personally played it, but if you're interested in this type of thing, you could most likely do far worse. The price is pretty reasonable, to say the least. Next up, we have Van Helsing. It's available 50% off. That gets you it for $7.49 US dollars. On the other hand, if you're paying in pounds, you're going to be looking at $5.99. There is also DLC for this, and it is not discounted. So, I haven't actually played this. I was going to, but it just looked fairly generic. I have looked at some reviews of it for you guys, and it scores okay. It scores around the 70% range on Metacritic and most review sites. It's not bad, honestly, from what I'm reading, but here's the thing. There are likely to be better titles out there. On the other hand, it doesn't look abysmal either. If you're interested in this type of thing, or interested in, a darker RPG, it could be worth it. But to my mind, there are so many good deals right now on Steam that unless you really want a specific game, then a title that's like $5 to $7 you know, unless it looks really awesome, unless it scores really well, my personal standpoint is I don't usually touch it. That's just me. And finally, he says, just checking over everything out of paranoia, we have Torchlight 2. This game is fantastic, and it is available to you guys 75% off or $5, which is a pretty astounding price. So if you're paying pounds, it's $3.74. In my opinion, this is an amazing game, and it almost is a rival to Diablo 3. As it turns out, this game supports mods, and the mods are actually really good on it as well. I'd actually recommend this one to fans of action RPGs, or for those of you who are just looking for an interesting dungeon crawler, or just RPGs in general, or just want something a bit different to play. It isn't exactly the most strongest of stories ever told, and I would have liked to have seen a little bit more class diversity. Fortunately, you can somewhat fix this with some mods, and some of the mods actually make the games considerably harder, should you so wish. And honestly speaking, I would actually recommend the Synergies mod for that reason, because I think the spawn rate for regular monsters could stand to be a little bit harder. But whatever, I do think it's a fantastic game. Next, I'm just going to quickly breeze over a couple of the flash deals. I haven't played all of them. These are just the ones I would recommend. Resident Evil 6, a pretty good PC port. It's available for $19.99 if you're paying in dollars. If you're paying in pounds, it's $9.99, so very good deal for us Brits. Haven't really got anything bad to say about the game. It just isn't Resident Evil. It's just not survival horror. And that may or may not appeal to you, as it turns out. It's not a bad game, I just think it could have been a lot better. Next game, Binding of Isaac. This game is, well, I've done a first impressions on this, and I can honestly say this game's pretty, excuse the language, it's pretty fucked up. It is, however, a really compelling game. It's available right now for 99 pence, or if you're paying in dollars, $1.24. This is one of those games I would actually encourage you to take a punt on. I would encourage you just to say, you know what, I'm going to write off $1 and try it out. If only to disturb that one friend of yours that's really, really, really easy to shock and scare. Get them to play Binding of Isaac. It's a really messed up game. And I'm not even going to give you guys an example of how it's messed up, because any words I could use would just completely and utterly fail. But let's just say that you are a baby trapped in a cellar, and you're not really sure if it's a nightmare world you're seeing or what. And it's very cool, but very, very messed up. And the music, by the way, is pretty tops as well. I'd recommend, if you're still unsure, check out the video on RGT, and it will give you an idea of just how messed up things are. Once again, I'm just going to quickly go over the communities of choice. It was Risen 2. I've done a first impressions on this as well, and honestly, unless you're a huge fan of these type of games, I would give it a miss. It's not that strong of a game. It has some bugs in terms of AI, and general storytelling is not that strong. It's not the worst game I've ever played in my life or anything like that. I couldn't find myself hooked on it. I'll just be blunt. Anyway, I think that's just about it for this particular video, so hopefully you found it somewhat entertaining, he says, trying to get the word out. And I will see you soon. Take care, and bye for now.